All right, a little post-game reaction. Padres knock off the Mets. Apologies, my laptop is almost dead. Like, it was at 5%, so I wouldn't have been able to even do this video and upload it. So apologies for that, but still wanted to give a reaction. Padres beat the Mets tonight by a few runs. You had Michael King, obviously, yesterday, where it was a home run derby. Then you had Pivetta today, who wasn't walking guys, obviously attacking the zone, but he did give up a few bombs. And that's where it hurt him. But the Padres dropping 7 runs, that made it not as bad, obviously. And so good to obviously get a win. Really, like, that's where my focus is at this point in time, is getting that playoff berth clinched. I'm not focused on the division. The Dodgers haven't even been playing that well, and they've been playing tough opponents, and the Padres haven't been able to take advantage of that. You look at the last couple nights where the Dodgers lost to the Phillies, and you had the Padres not be able to take advantage of that. So frustrating, but really it's like focus on us right now. Go make the playoffs, and hopefully you're playing well that last week or so going in, last couple weeks, and then see what happens going into it. But Pivetta, let's talk about like how worried, right, with Pivetta, with King. King, I'm not in panic mode, because we got to remember he's working his way back from injury. So let's not act like he's going to be in the same spot as Nick Pivetta is, who's been working the whole year, and he's, in that prime form, or at least should be. He's probably dealing with something like every player is, but you get the point. Michael King is like doing his spring training right now, pitching in games. And so yesterday, Schilt had to leave him out there. He was getting pounded, but you want to build that up. You want to ramp him up. So sure, I'll be a little worried about Michael King. I can't sit here and be like, no, not worried at all. But the talent is there, and it's one of those things where I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's working his way back, where Dylan Cease, like, I'm not giving that to him because he's been pitching and in the rotation, and it's been, like, pretty consistently the track record of whether it be postseason, where he's struggling in the postseason, just go look at his numbers, or in the regular season against teams like the Dodgers, where the majority of his outings aren't what I want as, the guy going out there with my season on the line. So right now, like playoff-wise, I probably still would be leaning Pivetta, King, and Darvish. Vasquez maybe make the roster, but Dylan Cease not make the roster. That fourth starter, like, no, you're not going to use him. Don't waste a roster spot there. And that's that. But yeah, with Pivetta, sure, the Marte and Alonso homers, the 2 fastballs there that were high, right in the zone, right where they're going to want it. Obviously, mistake pitches. Pivetta, though, like, also going back to the track record and benefit of the doubt, like, he's been the Padres' best starting pitcher. And if he makes mistakes, obviously you don't want as many, but if he makes those solo home run mistakes, it's not the end of the world. And then I want him to go more than 5 innings, but in, like, let's say it's a wild card series, you have that bullpen there, you can make it work. And him getting pulled today, I want to say it was around 80 pitches. They went with Morahone. I understood it. Wasn't going to have Nimmo, wasn't going to have him face Nimmo for, I think, a 3rd time. And then it was 2 of the 3, because McNeil was coming up as well. So you had that lefty lane there with Morahone. So I understood it there. Pivetta probably wasn't happy, but I do get it. Postseason-wise, you could see that same thing. I, personally, if I was the manager, I mean, what do I know? I'm just a fan talking into a phone right now. But, like, if I was the manager, I probably would stick with Pivetta. Obviously, depends on circumstances in that specific postseason game. But I'm going to trust my guy and then use the least amount of relievers as possible. And this is probably why I'm not managing, because they'd probably be like, no, you're stupid for thinking that. Like, you want all the matchups to be in your advantage, not let the other team see the starting pitcher more times and be more comfortable up there. But for me, like, I trust Pivetta in the 5th inning, to start the 6th inning, and then go to Morahone, Miller, and Suarez. And if you're going to get 4 outs from Morahone and Miller to cut that down, like, okay, yeah, sure. But I'd like to minimize the guys I'm using. Like, do I want to go to do I want to go to Estrada unless I need to? Like the way that he's been pitching recently, I'm leaning towards no. Like I'm comfortable with Morejon, with Miller, with Suarez. Like those who are the guys I want to use. And so when Pavetta's pitching, because you don't know what you're going to get from King, how long. Same thing with Darvish. With Pavetta, I feel like that's the one game where it's like, no, let's try to stick with this plan here and get to those three. So we'll see. Manny with the grand slam, that was big. Obviously, just it seemed like Manny had a lot of time to see that ball. Like that was hanging, and I know it wasn't right down the middle, but it was down middle, down in the zone, if that makes sense, like middle of the plate, and then down, and just yeah, had a lot of time to turn on that ball, and one of the lean back swings. So that was great. Obviously, I'm not gonna say it felt like a playoff moment, but the smile on my face when it happened felt like it. Like, oh, that was a big moment. You're going to see on social media people saying, oh, is that going to turn their season? Is that a turning point? I'm not a big believer in turning points. Like, you could easily go out the next day and you're facing a great pitcher, or not even a great pitcher, but you just get carved up, and you're going to say that the night before the Grand Slam was a turning point. I don't know. Like, let's play consistently good baseball. Because, Manny has started to hit better. It wasn't starting with the Grand Slam. Like, that was before that. That was series before that. So, I'm reluctant to say there's a turning point there. But it was still great to see, nonetheless. Obviously, you're still seeing the bunts from this Schilt team. You're going to see it. They're okay with giving away outs because they want to increase their chances of bringing across a run in a situation, because they're not going to rely on the long ball or, a couple hits in an inning only. That's all you got to do. I did like guys not trying to do too much, with Crony and with Merrill, with the bloop singles early in the game. So that's good. When Bogaerts gets back, hopefully he can get a few games in there at the end to get a better view of what this lineup will look like. I'm not the biggest fan of having Jackson Merrill not be up in the first inning when he's one of your best hitters. I want that guy up as many times as possible, to be quite honest, especially when the real Jackson Merrill is back and he's going the opposite way like he has been. So not the biggest fan of the lineup construction. And I know I'm not the only one, but there's obviously way smarter people that get paid to do that, so just going to trust them. Any other updates? Musgrove. There's still a small chance, that he pitches in the NLCS. He's not going to be, Kevin Acee wrote in his Padres Daily, not going to be ready for the wild card series. Maybe he pitches in the NLCS if he's ready in terms of recovery time in between outings. Will he be up for certain game intensity? And not just one game, because he can do that, obviously. We know that. But back to back, and the consistency there. And what would his role look like? All that. It's a small chance. I don't think it's going to happen at this point in time, but it's Joe Musgrove. We'll also see what the bullpen situation looks like when we get there. But yeah, so we'll see about that. For me, I'm just leaning towards as much as I'd love to see Joe run out from the bullpen just for the moment, because he's my favorite Padre. So for the moment, I'd love to see that guy run out of the pen and the San Diego on his chest and go dominate in the 6th inning or something, and be a big get that to the bridge to the big guys in the bullpen, something like that, right? But I also need to look at this from the long-term view, and don't know if it's the smartest thing but not even just the long-term view, but also the current thing. Do you want to have Joe be out there when he's ramping up, or he's just starting a season, essentially, just coming off the surgery, rehab, and all that went into that? Or would you rather have someone that's been pitching the whole year and has been in games, But Joe also has the postseason experience of pitching in the biggest games. Those Padre-Dodger games, Padres-Mets at Citi Field, those hostile environments, he has that experience. So you got to weigh those, right? So I'm kind of split on it. Is it the best thing for now? It would be really entertaining. Is it the best thing long term? Probably not. So that's how I kind of feel on that. Bogaerts, we'll see. He could come back as soon as that White Sox series coming up, I think this coming weekend in Chicago. Don't know if that's going to happen. He's running at 80, 85%. I don't want him coming back if he's not at 100%. If he's not at 100% come postseason time, like, you got to have him back. People are going to be playing through things, but do you need him to take at-bats against the Chicago White Sox? Let's just have him play the homestand, right? Let's just do that, and then hopefully he's fine. I don't think he'll need a ton of at-bats. He's Xander Bogaerts. He has plenty of experience. Like, I think he'll be fine. So, yeah, those are the updates. Bogaerts, he's been in Arizona, fielding, swinging, doing some running. So, again, we'll see if he appears in the White Sox series. I don't really want to see that, to be quite honest. Like, what's the big benefit from getting Bogaerts back in that White Sox series? I think you have the offense to still go win baseball games. You have the pitching to still go win baseball games against the White Sox. Let's just save it for the homestand. But just one man's opinion. But yeah, series finale tomorrow. I don't think I'll be able to do a reaction just because of my schedule, but I definitely wanted to do one tonight because didn't do one yesterday and probably not tomorrow as well. But it was good. It was good to see the Padres drop 7 runs on the Mets. Had some positives, a little bit defensively as well. Merrill went and made a great catch in the gap. And then offensively, seeing the power from Manny, seeing guys like Merrill, like Crony contribute like that, that's great. Nando leading off the game with a freaking bullet. So definitely some positives. Waiting to get some guys back. Little worried about this rotation right now, but it also is because this is a reactionary game. There's 162 of them, and right now we're just not seeing the best from the rotation. But there's also a few more starts, a couple more starts at least, from these guys, and we could be feeling better once we see those starts. Well, maybe Michael King will pitch better the next couple starts, and it'll be like, all right, I feel better. Because I think it's important to give him a little bit of grace. I know you guys can fan however you want, but give him a little bit of grace. He is working his way back. He's not in the Dylan Cease situation. He's not in Nick Pavetta's situation. He's still working his way. And like he said, he's going to be grinding these next 4 or 5 days before he makes his next outing to try to fix what was going on. And what was going on was there was a lot of meatballs, and so got to fix that.